All right, so I am doing this from my house, so I apologize if a child comes in yelling for something, but that's life. So we're making do. This is a video for Monday, September 21st, 2020, and we're going to be talking about transformations of quadratics still. Okay, so your assignment that goes with this 2.1 part 3. And just a reminder that every assignment we have is for a grade, and so you need to make sure you're doing them all and you're doing them all on time. All right, so normally when we've talked about quadratics, I say that it's f of something, and then you have to do f of x plus k or f of x minus h, and we've been doing transformations that way. Okay, but there is a little bit simpler form. Okay, and this one here is called standard form. Okay, and each letter represents something. Okay, so this letter A, okay, it's the stretch or shrink vertically. Okay, it's also the reflection. If it's negative. Okay. And this C is the y-intercept. Okay. So that's standard form, and we've been dealing with that one. Okay. Then there's also vertex form. Okay, which is y equals a times x minus h, the quantity squared, plus k. All right. Let's see if I change this color. Okay. In here, this A, okay, is still a reflection, a stretch shrink vertically. And again, this vertically. Okay. H is the shift, left or right. And K is up and down. Okay, now one thing that I haven't pointed out to you yet is that these shifts left and right and up and down actually control where the vertex is. Okay, so if I do my graph, okay, remember it makes that U shape. Okay, there's a point right here where the graph turns, and that point right there is called the vertex. If you use Desmos, the graphing calculator that we have online, it'll give you that coordinate, but that's actually the value that is moving around to control this graph. Okay, and the vertex, that point, can be found right here as h comma k. All right, h comma k. And again, if a is negative, it's a reflection over the x-axis. But if the x is negative, it's a reflection over the y. Things get a little bit more complicated with that up here. Okay. All right, so what you're going to do today is you're going to describe the transformation of f of x equals x squared, represented by g, is what the instructions say. Okay, so I believe we're only going to be in vertex form for the ones I'm going to assign you. But you want to look first, am I in standard form or am I in vertex form? Okay, so these are going to be in vertex form. And each of these values represents something. Okay, so this 5 is A, right? It's A. And A is a vertical stretch or shrink. So what I should see you guys doing if you were in class is you'd go, oh, let's look back here. Oh, there's something about horizontal and vertical. Oh, here we go, A. Okay, looks like this one, A times, okay? And you'd go, oh, that's a 5. So it says if it's greater than 1, we're going to call it a stretch. Okay, so you'd say vertical stretch by a factor of 5. Okay. This 3 is going to be the h. Okay. And what we recall from the previous lessons is that the rule has subtraction. So if I see a plus sign, that means that h is really negative. Okay. So again, I might go here, and I might look at my notes. Where are my left and right rules? Oh, don't remember when we did them. Let's look. Left and right. Something inside that's pre-AP. Sorry. Oh, here. There we go. Some left and right. Oh, there we go. Okay. So if h is less than 0, it's left. If h is greater than 0, it's right. So my h is going to be less than 0 because it's negative. Less than 0 is to the left. So please use your notes. Help provide right the right value. And again, we don't say left negative 3, we just say left 3 units. Right? And this one is the k. K is up and down. So because it's positive, it's going to go up 2 units. And that's how you're going to fill it in. Now, the next thing you have to say is the vertex. Well, I just told you it. And if you use Desmos, it will give you the coordinate. It's parentheses, and you'll have to have a comma between the x and the y coordinate. Okay. So the h is first. Well, we just said h is not really 3. It's negative 3. And the k is a positive 2. So it's going to have a vertex at negative 3, 2. Okay, for the next one, we have f of x equals negative 3 times the quantity x minus 1 squared minus 3. So this again is in vertex form. So you're going to identify what each of these values mean. Okay, well, this negative way out front means it's a reflection in the x-axis. Okay, that has to do with the negative out front. Then this 3, okay, remember it's a. So a is greater than 1, so it's a vertical stretch. By a factor of 3. Okay, h equals 1. Okay. So 1 is greater than 0. If 1 is greater than 0, that means it moves to the right. So it shifts right 1 unit. And then this one is the k. And if k is negative, that means it goes down. So it goes down 3 units. So the reflection in the x-axis happened because there's a negative here. Vertical stretch by a factor of 3 here. Shifts right 1 unit here. And down 3 units here. Okay. This one here is again in vertex form because it looks very similar to vertex form that I wrote up there. There's no plus k, so if you want to put a plus 0, that's really what the k is worth, so we don't normally write plus 0. And we're not going to actually have to talk about it if it's 0. Okay. This 1/3 is positive out front. It's a. A means a stretch or a shrink. Well, that's 1/3. It's between 0 and 1, so it's a vertical shrink. Okay. This is h, but remember h is not positive 1. H is equal to negative 1. And if you need to write these little markers above, it's fine with me. Whatever helps you get it right. Okay. And this one is going to move left 1 unit. And that's because it's negative, so you would say left. Oh, let me finish this one. I forgot to write the vertex there. All right, so the vertex for this one is going to be -1, 0. Because the h is -1, and the k would be a +0. We forgot to do this vertex one up here. I'm sorry. So h was +1, and this one is -3. So there's your vertex. So these should be your first 4 problems in your assignment for today. Okay. And then we have one more set here. All right. So we're going to have to go from words to an equation or a function. Okay. And it's only simple when it's compared to the parent. I keep telling you that because eventually we're going to have to compare it to something else and it becomes a little bit more complicated. Okay. So we have a vertical stretch by a factor of 3 and a reflection on the x-axis, followed by a translation 3 units down. So what I would recommend that you do is write in vertex form, because it's a little bit easier when you're talking about transformations. Okay. So if I have a vertical stretch by a factor of 3, okay, vertical stretch has to do with the a value. So the a value is going to have a 3. But then it says I need to have a reflection on the x-axis. X-axis, okay, means that it's going to be negative out here. Okay, parentheses x, because that's going to be part of it. Followed by a translation 3 units down. Okay, so that means that h is technically going to be a 0 because I'm not shifting left or right. Didn't say anything about that. But it does say 3 units down, which is the k value, and down is a negative. So I would write this out as I'm talking through the problem, and then my final answer would be, are we calling it G? We might be calling it G. G of x equals -3 times the quantity x squared minus 3. Okay. But then what you also have to know is that this actually is going to go one more time. -3x squared minus 3. And that would be your answer. So again, write out the rule or the place where you're going to plug it in, and then fill in the blanks. Okay. And you're only going to have 2 of these to do. So you're going to do 2.1 part 3.